or with someone?
No alone. No alone with somebody. Why I alone? They're together. Two person go back to a hole on foot.
Mm-hmm.
Why I alone?
Okay. So question 5.
How would you have felt if you had been in Marcus' situation? Maybe the same, I think.
The same, I think. What does it mean, the same, I think?
The same how Marcus.
How Marcus felt?
He was very agree. Yes.
Very agree?
Agree.
Angry.
Angry.
Uh-huh. And
what I felt maybe.
You felt angry, only angry? You are in the Amazon rainforest. Your group mates would like to leave you. Your tour guide doesn't know how to go back. Your tour guide doesn't know where you are. Your tour guide doesn't know anything about Amazon rainforest. And then tigers, lions, monkeys, crocodiles, snakes are surrounding you. And then you will be just angry. You will say, Marcus, you will say something like this only. When the lion is coming back. When the crocodile is saying, hello, Olga. And you will say, no, something like that. What other feelings you have?
I think and Kevin and Marcus felt not so good feels.
I think they would not feel well. You can say grammatically correct, but I'm asking, how do you feel? Or how would you have felt? So in that case, I think maybe anxiety, stress, panicked, hesitated, depressed, desperate, disappointed, you can say. Because they leave you alone in the jungle with all the wild animals, and you will say just angry. All the wild animals, lions, tigers, panthers are coming, and then you will just say, I'm so angry now. Something like that.
No, of course, this Kevin angry on Marcus, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus, what can felt it? What? The same. No.
We will see how they feel now. Are you ready? I have a special lesson for you now. Amazing lesson. Are you ready?
Yes.
I choose what you like in English today. Can you listen to all of them?
My lovely listening.
Yes, not only one, 11 listenings now you have. One by one, let's start from the first one, please.
Okay.
3.6. Yossi and Kevin soon realized that going by river was a big mistake. The river got faster and faster, and soon they were in rapids. The raft was swept down the river at an incredible speed until it hit a rock. Both men were thrown into the water. Kevin was a strong swimmer, and he managed to swim to land. But Yossi was swept away by the rapids. But Yossi didn't drown. He was carried several kilometers downriver by the rapids, but he eventually managed to swim to the riverbank. He was totally exhausted. By an incredible piece of luck, he found their backpack floating in the river. The backpack contained a little food, insect repellent, a lighter, and, most important of all, the map. But the two friends were now separated by a canyon and 6 or 7 kilometers of jungle.
Finito.
Okay, what happened to Kevin and Yossi on the raft? The raft had a very big speed, and friends
Use your hands to show. Gestures, mimic.
and friends
Use your hand to show me.
what swim they are swim and they fell.
They were not swimming, first of all.
Began these friends student and Yossi swim. I don't listen. How kilometers?
How many kilometers?
How? I don't know how kilometers. Swim, dry swim, and to exotic. Exotic maybe weather.
In what podcast you heard exotic? Even they didn't say something about exotic.
I hear they're what exotic.
I feel like you want to talk a lot and then you create your own story about first. It was so exotic, there were bananas, something like that.
I think yes, it is.
I think we didn't listen to the same podcast because in my podcast there is no exotic. They were rafting. Do you know rafting?
Yes, rafting is some wood.
Something like a sportive activity, sea sports, water sport, like this. Imagine it like a canoeing, rafting, and then they were in rapids. Do you know rapid? Wave. The water is so wavy and not too fast. Because of it, the raft, it means their canoe, was swept, canoe, raft, was swept down, up, down, and then they were thrown into the water. And then Yossi was swept away by the rapids. But Yossi didn't drown because he was covered by the canoe by this. What they're doing, they were rafting by the raft. He was covered by the raft, we can say easily. But another guy, it is who? I forgot his name. Yossi. Kevin, I guess.
And fluent.
Yeah, Kevin was carried for several kilometers down the river by the rapids, and he swam to the.
Oh, Kevin swim to land. Can swim.
This is called a
Yossi
river
drive
bank.
7 meters.
This is called a river bank. River bank is the shore, is the land that you wanted to say. It is called a river bank. And then, what is his luck? In the podcast, it is said that he is too lucky. Why is he lucky?
I don't know. Lucky.
Uh-huh. Last part. Can you listen to the last part of this story? Except exotic things, he says something about it.
This lucky that Yossi have. I don't know.
Because when he was swept away to the riverbank, he found his backpack. And then the backpack contained several items like insect repellent, cigarette lighter, food, and a map. So he is too lucky now. So can you listen to part 2 now?
Kevin was feeling desperate. He didn't know if Yossi was alive or dead, but he started walking downriver to look for him. He felt responsible for what had happened to his friend, because he had persuaded him to go with him on the river.
Yossi! Yossi!
Yossi, however, was feeling quite optimistic. He was sure that Kevin would look for him, so he started walking upriver, calling his friend's name.
Kevin! Kevin! Kevin!
But nobody answered. At night, Yossi tried to sleep, but he felt terrified. The jungle was full of noises. Suddenly, he woke up because he heard a branch breaking. He turned on his flashlight. There was a jaguar staring at him. Yossi was trembling with fear. But then he remembered something that he had once seen in a film. He used a cigarette lighter to set fire to the insect repellent spray. And he managed to scare the jaguar away.
So, finito listening to you.
How were Kevin and Yossi feeling? Yossi quite optimistic. Kevin is worried. Feeling worried.
Feeling maybe disworried? What is disworried? What does it mean?
I don't know. Desperate.
Desperate.
I wrote desperate.
Desperate.
Desperate. Yes.
What is desperate?
What is this? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm asking you desperate. Hopeless.
Hopeless.
Hopeless, desperate. These are approximately чуть-чуть same things. От shiny, something like that it is written. And then
What?
and then you listen 2-minute long podcast. Only desperate.
I know what happened to Yossi on the first night alone in the jungle. I can answer to first questions, and they. They searched both
They not search, they look for each other.
for look for. And what happened to Yossi on his first night alone in the jungle? He the first night was town pool, and he listened. Who is Leo? Jackie. Who is Jackie?
Not Jaggi, it is jaguar.
Jaguar.
Jaguar animal.
Jaguar. Yes.
Jaguar.
By Russia.
Jaguar is like a cat. Jaguar. Hey, it's not jaguar. It's jaguar. A little bit hard. Giant animal, please.
I know.
It's not your cat. So, what happened to this jaguar?
He listened only. Maybe no. Maybe yes.
Wanna listen one more time?
Yes.
Okay, let's listen. The same podcast, right? Second one.
Yes.
Okay, listen.
After 5 days alone, Yossi was exhausted and starving. Suddenly, as he was walking, he saw a footprint on the trail. It was a hiking boot. It had to be Kevin's footprint.
Kevin!
He followed the trail until he discovered another footprint, and then another. But suddenly, he realized that the footprints weren't Kevin's footprints. They were his own. He had been walking around in a circle. At that moment, Yossi realized that he would never find Kevin. In fact, he felt sure that Kevin must be dead. He felt...
So, listening to you.
It's very difficult for me. Yossi's spirits change from despair to optimistic because
Yossi's spirit change from not the spirit, desperate to optimistic. And then, so desperate again, what, why?
because he hoped to find Kevin,
But
but
uh-huh.
but in answer only quite, and he started think about Kevin maybe died, maybe etc.
Because first of all, Yossi wanted to look for Kevin in the jungle, and then he tried to look for, just he walked in the jungle, tried to find him, or any kind of evidence even that whether he's still alive or not. And he found some footprints on the ground, and he tried to follow these footprints. Nevertheless, he noticed that these footprints in this picture, you can see what it is, were his own footprints. And then he understood that he was walking in a circle. It means circulating.
Yes.
And then he lost his hope. So, is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen another 1 million podcasts, please. Step by step.
3.9. But Kevin wasn't dead. He was still looking for Yossi. But after nearly a week, he was also weak and exhausted from lack of food and lack of sleep. He decided that it was time to forget Yossi and try to save himself. He had just enough strength left to hold onto a log and let himself float down the river. Kevin was incredibly lucky. He was rescued by 2 Bolivian hunters who were traveling downriver in a canoe. The men only hunted in that part of the rainforest once a year, so if they had passed by a short time earlier or later, they wouldn't have seen Kevin. They took him back to the town of San Jose, where he spent 2 days recovering.
What had Kevin been doing at this time? Kevin still lucky, and he had lucky food, and he forgot about Yossi. Kevin was lucky swim by canoe, and 2 days recovered. Yes. What did
Yes.
Kevin decide to do? What was he incredibly lucky?
So,
So what?
answers.
What did Kevin decide to do? I think Kevin decide to swim by canoe and find Yoti.
We can say basically like this. First of all, after 5 days alone, Yossi was exhausted and then starving. Starving means being hungry. And then in the previous podcast, we heard like this. In this podcast, it is going like this. Because of being hungry and then because of being desperate, Kevin wasn't that okay, but they were still looking for each other. And because of lack of sleep, lack of food, both they got weak and exhausted. But Kevin was incredibly lucky because he was rescued by two Bolivian hunters when they were traveling down river in a canoe. And he was rescued by them. They went to the jungle, actually they went to the center, and they took 2-day recovery. It means he spent 2 days in the city center to take rest in San Jose. Okay. So next podcast, please.
3.10.
As soon as Kevin felt well enough, he went to a Bolivian army base and asked them to look for Yossi.
Mi amigo está
My friend is lost in the
en la
jungle.
selva. Deben buscarle.
You must look for him.
The army officer he spoke to was sure that Yossi must be dead. But in the end, Kevin persuaded them to take him up in a plane and fly over the part of the rainforest where Yossi might be. But the plane had to fly too high over the rainforest, and the forest was too dense. They couldn't see anything at all. It was a hopeless search. Kevin felt terribly guilty. He was convinced that it was all his fault that Yossi was going to die in the jungle. Kevin's last hope was to pay a local man with a boat to take him up the river to look for his friend.
How did Kevin first try to get help? Kevin met hunter.
Bolivian hunters and soldiers.
So, a local resident.
Local residents, we can say.
And he asked about Yossi and two questions. Yes, why was he unsuccessful? Because plane flight very tight. And Kevin lost hope find Yossi. He thought about Yossi died, but he hoped by God would swim by river.
Basically, we can say as soon as Kevin felt well enough, he asked help from the Bolivian army base. It means from soldiers to look for Yossi again. And the army officer he spoke was sure that Yossi must be dead because for a long time he couldn't stay alive, and he must have died already. We can say. Actually, he said like this, but Kevin convinced them to look for Yossi again, and they took a plane to look for him. In that case, the plane was flying over the jungle, over the dense forest. The forest was too dense, and then they were flying so high. Because of it, they couldn't find Yossi, and then they had to come back. But Kevin's last hope was to pay for a local man to look for him again via searching the riverbank with a boat. We say. So, last podcast, please, let's listen.
By now, Yossi had been on his own in the jungle for nearly 3 weeks. He hadn't eaten for days. He was starving, exhausted, and slowly losing his mind. It was evening. He lay down by the side of the river, ready for another night alone in the jungle. Suddenly, he heard the sound of a bee buzzing in his ear. He thought a bee had got inside his mosquito net. But when he opened his eyes, he saw that the buzzing noise wasn't a bee. It was a boat. Yossi was too weak to shout. But Kevin had already seen him.
Yossi! Yossi! Yossi!
It was a 1 in a million chance that Kevin would find his friend. But he did. Yossi was saved. When Yossi had recovered, he and Kevin flew to the city of La Paz, and they went directly to the hotel where they had agreed to meet Marcus and Carl. But Marcus and Carl were not at the hotel. The two men had never arrived back in the town of Apollo. The Bolivian army organized a search of the rainforest, but Marcus and Carl were never seen again.
How long had Yossi been on his own on the jungle? 3 weeks.
Then,
How was he? He was very alone and what and Ameshit.
Amershit? There is no word in English, Amershit.
How you can't know Ameshit?
Is it called Emashit?
Yes.
But in this podcast, do we have such a word? I think you are translating wrong word. Exhausted, fed up,
Exhausted.
emaciated,
Exotic weather. Exotic.
exhausted, not exotic. This word means totally fed up, finished, done, tired because of losing weight.
Yes.
These are different things. So. Listening to you, what happened in this podcast?
What? Listening again?
No, you need to tell me. You didn't give me any kind of answers.
Okay. Can I answer 2 questions?
Yes, you can answer now.
Where did you think the buzzing noise was? What was it? Very many other noise. And what? Yossi listening mosquito and very important. He what? He knows this.
He heard some noise.
Some noise, boat and voice Kevin. And Kevin had 1 million chance find Yossi, but Yossi can't say it him voice very nice. How say
Very loud. Loud noise. Loud